The outdoors is absolutely full of health benefits. It's bursting with health benefits, but it can be categorised into three areas really. One of them is it takes away stress and chronic stress, and we'll come on to that. One, it increases physical activity, and the other is it gets people meeting each other. And actually, when you get closer together with other people and communities get stronger, that has huge health benefits. Chronic stress is the stress of poverty, the stress of living in a high-rise flat, the stress of a really horrible neighbourhood with graffiti and litter. And that chronic stress just eats away at people's health. It makes them high blood pressure, gives heart disease, it even has been contributing to obesity and diabetes. And what we're finding is that when people go into the natural environment, it copes with that stress, it moderates it, it takes that stress away. And that is fundamentally really important. I did some research in Oxford Brookes University where we actually got people to walk on a concrete strip but with lovely trees and grass either side and on a treadmill facing a blank wall. We put them on all sorts of clever things for physiology to work out how fit they were. They then monitored their heart on both those events, and what happened is that people, when they were walking outdoors, could walk much faster for the same feeling of tiredness than they did when they were doing it indoors. In other words, by being outdoors and all the things you can see in distractions allows people to exercise a lot more and get less tired. I think in the UK we are getting further away from nature, and when I mean further away is we're losing the understanding, the relationship. It now appears to be, for a lot of people, a strange place to go to, being in nature. And when it's a strange place you feel unfamiliar, you feel a bit frightened. And I get that from people who are going outdoors. They don't understand it anymore. They much prefer to sit in the car and watch it than actually get involved. And children likewise are told, don't touch that, don't do that, because it's unknown. So that relationship is going, and the trouble is, if that relationship continues to not be built up from children in the generation that we've got now, we're going to lose all that understanding. What we've done is we've put nature over there, put a fence around it, said that's nature, this is us. We're now strangers to each other. What needs to change? People need to understand what they're missing out on. People think that contact with nature is a little bit of kind of nostalgia, 1950s, that's what we did then, middle class. Actually, what we're missing out is something really fundamental. That's a connection with the rest of life. And it allows us to become more resilient. If we have that connection, we can use that connection for the rest of our lives. Children who don't connect to nature before the age of 12 are less likely as adults to ever connect with nature. They therefore lose out on that resilience which nature provides when you're really stressed. If you do that, you're actually starting to cause problems with health. There's been a shift in medicine changing, a lot more prevention now than there was, but we're now looking at end results. It's more important to see how does someone's blood pressure change, how does someone's diabetes change. How you get there is now less important, which means that doctors can now not just prescribe drugs, but can prescribe exercise, can actually recommend people to go outdoors, can take them to the green gym where they can do conservation work and feel very much part of nature. It's difficult to get every GP involved because it's new. It is a doctor who has got the authority and has got the respect very often that makes that change in someone, just to get them over that bump of inertia, to get them into the outdoors. Once they're out there and they're with friends, they'll continue. But the doctor's role is to shift them from where they were to where they want to be. The natural environment takes over after that. The National Trust has the respect and the reach to be able to make a big difference. It's got the properties, it's got the land, it's got the beaches, it's got so much to offer, and people understand it and they feel good about it. What we have to do now, and what the National Trust has to do, is to reach out to those people who don't understand it, who don't necessarily know what going out into a natural environment is like. Once you bring those people on board, and they taste it and they feel it and they know it, we'll get new converts and we'll gradually generate this experience again, this understanding, this knowledge. I think the National Trust has got a really key role in bringing a whole new generation back into the connection with the natural environment, which will be the safeguard for the future.